Mark Levin, great to see you, sir.
A great pleasure, my friend.
Here it is. Yet another #1 bestseller. Are you getting sick and tired of winning?
You're going to get so sick and tired of winning.
Never. But you know what? Here's the way I look at it. You spend a year more researching, writing a book, going over it, editing it, carefully checking your words, putting endnotes, sources, giving credit where credit's due, trying to make your point. And you hope that the book is received well. Mm-hmm. You're giving birth to this book. You put everything you can in there. I wear my emotions on my sleeve and in the book. And the fact that people enjoy these books, they learn from these books, is why I keep doing them. Mm-hmm. You know, I do TV, I do digital TV, I do radio. I don't have to do all these things, but I do all these things because I care about the country very, very much. And that's the theme in all these books, liberty. It's the theme on my radio show, on my TV show. Mm-hmm. And everything builds around that for me. So am I glad it's #1? I'm glad it's getting out there. People are reading it because I think this is an enormously important topic, the press.
Why now? Why did you feel the need to write this book?
You know, that's a great question. I wouldn't normally write a book like this on freedom of the press, but the title is the giveaway. The mass media today is destroying freedom of the press. Not the government, not the president, the mass media. Why? Because they've abandoned the patriot press that founded this country. They've abandoned seeking objective truth. Nobody's perfect in seeking objective truth, but you'll be more perfect if you give it a try every now and then. The newsrooms, there's a monopoly of ideology. It's clearly progressive. Every survey and poll shows it. I looked at every survey and poll. They admit it. But what's different today is they're social activists. And that is a big difference today. And that's coming out of journalism school. That's coming out of these, out of the left. And so now we actually have journalists who are social activists, Democrats, progressives, who are pushing their agendas. That is destructive. That's not news. Mm-hmm. And so 80% of Republicans don't trust the media, and rightly so. 80% of Democrats do, because the Democrat Party is reflected in the media and vice versa.
What is it with the press as to why they're so angry at Trump? Because in the book you talk about how the press kind of looked the other way on some of these presidents based on the agenda that kind of matched theirs. Now, with Bush and Reagan, you can make that case that the press did that, and to a degree Trump, but there's something different about Trump. Why is this all on steroids, if you will, with Trump?
The press protected FDR, the press protected John Kennedy, the press protected Lyndon Johnson. Matter of fact, they worked with them on their agenda and against their opponents. It's an amazing thing. Why Trump? Because Trump is a vocal opponent of what the press is doing, and because Trump is a unique and peculiar victim of what the press is doing. The press laughed off this man. The press thought he didn't have a chance. The press threw in with the Democrat Party and the Republican establishment to try and stop him. We now know what the FBI was doing with spies in his campaign. I mean, absolutely outrageous stuff. And later in October with the FISA court, the press had access to some of this information and did nothing with it. I think the press wanted a third Obama term. They lined up ideologically and politically with Hillary Clinton or anybody but Trump. They lost. Donald Trump was running against the Democrat Party, the Republican establishment, and the press. And they all lost, and they're all angry. And I think the press wants to show that they don't get to lose, because it's an unfree press. It's an ideologically driven Democratic Party press. And so they have spent his entire presidency, and even before his presidency, trying to destroy his reputation and his character, his family, his businesses. They'll grab onto anyone or anything, like Michael Avenatti, who they never vetted. They didn't care. He had a lawsuit already going on about how he had stolen money out of his firm. They ignored it completely. They'll grab onto a porn star. They'll grab onto anyone and anything. Remember, there was this psychologist out of Yale, and all this is in the book. There was this psychologist out of Yale, 26 others. They never met the president. Right after the election, they go out and they write a book. They talk about how the president is mentally unstable. They're briefing members of Congress. They talk about the 25th Amendment. I have never, ever seen anything like this. You have the deputy director of the FBI leading a cabal against the president of the United States, and he's celebrated by Jeffrey Toobin, the legal analyst, Democrat, liberal, on CNN. You have police state activity going on. The greatest interference in the last election was by the Obama administration. The Russians, look, they're our enemy, and they're going to interfere in our election. We need to fight that. But we have a problem from within. And I would argue it's a fifth column. And when you have the head of the FBI and the Justice Department and the top intelligence agencies under Obama and the media trying to take out a candidate and using the police powers of the state, and then now trying to take out a president, what I call a silent coup, that's the news. That is a big deal. But when the news throws in with that activity, that's a big deal too. And the American people need to understand that's why they're never going to apologize. They're the problem.
Trump, the most persecuted president ever in this nation's history?
Certainly in my lifetime.
Modern era.
I think so. I mean, they went after Nixon pretty hard, but the truth is Trump hasn't done anything.